Welcome to the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev, where we explore and share stories of the best game you can. Stay tuned for today's episode. Morning, Overload Nation. Adrian here, and I'm talking with Miguel about their latest game, A Whole New World. Gentlemen, what can you tell me about the game?
The old school NES games like Castlevania and Ghosts and Goblins, and they both right side up and upside down. And if you're different potions, 5 different weapons, and you also have a fairy that's got. Hold it for a second.
Yeah, I played it a while, and it's a very interesting game, and see some elements of a Zelda with the little flying fairy, so to speak.
Yes.
And I feel the dark elements with I found the game mechanic of you switching to different colours and having different abilities.
Right.
Is unique. Different tackles different enemies differently.
Yes.
It really stands out. It's really nice.
This is actually they would change the palette of colors, so each attack would have its own Mega Man own characteristics. So and actually the different attacks you win attacks.
Oh right, nice. So the demo you gave me is quite far into the game.
Yes.
It's a stage.
Mm-hmm.
We try to make the stage in a way that it's
Yeah, I noticed that at the start, where those eyes are shooting like bubbles at you, it was a little difficult at first to realise which weapon. Nice, very clever. But so tell me a little about yourselves, though. Did you two start this game in the game studio?
We founded the studio 3 people. It's 2 plus 1 friend who's not here, and but we've got the core of the game. It's made by 2 plus 1. And
the Ludum Dare 30. This was last year in September. The theme of the competition was connected. Some way we could have 2 worlds that are connected and also have different way of playing. We got this upside down. And to make it a little bit more difficult, because we wanted to make it challenging, then we decided to make this arc. And it's a little bit more difficult to aim with this attack. Different attacks that are actually easier to use, so that you feel you are getting more powerful with time. Yes.
You get more, and at the same time the enemies get stronger.
Yes.
Ah, very good, very nice. And experience in the first 18 minutes of the game.
So now it's funny because now we have these 2 mechanics of the upside down world, but when we did the Ludum Dare 30, so it was quite interesting to try and make the game in a way that somebody that doesn't know that if new level, everybody would think you would die. So in the first minutes we tried to make the game fun. Okay, I'm gonna fall, and if I fall here, I'm gonna die, and make the holes bigger and bigger each time in a way that, and they the moment they think they're dead, they actually the camera turns around, and we wanted a big surprise, like, oh, I'm not dead, I'm in a different world. What's happened? What happened?
Is that how it worked in the demo as well?
The game is in development as of yet. And the more polished, so the first levels are a bit more like the Ludum Dare graphics and all. And so we are doing better graphics now, and so we didn't want for people to experience the games. It's not the quality that the game is going to be released. So we wanted people to get an idea of actual in the end of the year.
This explains a lot, because I got to the end of the level,
right,
and I defeated the dragon. There was that hole on the right, I went in there, first time, died, back to the bottom. Oh. Went in there again, there's a ledge on the right-hand side. Discovered.
Mm-hmm.
That was meant to be there, with the two one-ups.
Right.
And that led to that other tunnel with the eyes and the... Then I discovered a bug, which I'm pretty sure is a bug. It's no way it's by design. And, so yeah, yes. Got to near the end, and I didn't know what to do, which is fine.
So the thing is, we've done this demo because tomorrow we're in Barcelona, and we'll be showcasing the game to people. So we are there actually while people play it, and we can. It's meant for the game to be played while we are standing there, like taking. If something happens, we're there.
Yeah, but in the demo that I played.
Mm-hmm.
Could the mechanic of the upside down world... I didn't realise that you had to go into a certain hole to then activate it. I thought it was like a switch that you could activate somehow in the game.
So you didn't...
No.
Right.
I must have forgotten or didn't realise.
No. The problem is not play upside down at least once. It's totally necessary for the development of the game.
We force it. So people get to play it. For the beginning of the game, the purpose of the game at the beginning is for people to get to feel comfortable with the playing upside down and not being that difficult. And then if maybe the fourth level, that would be okay. But the fourth level is quite special because it's not always got for different paths you can choose. So you may not have, you probably didn't choose the one that leads to
the top right corner with the skulls. At first I thought they were going to attack, then I went near it and I noticed I could walk through it. Okay, so one way path, and then just continued and went to the dragon.
Exactly.
So yes.
So there are 4 paths, left and right. Those lead to the world where you play upside down.
So the thing is, when you reach the end, there's like a heart. It makes this line of blood to be disconnected, and now there are walls off now, and then you can go back to the center room and try another path. And you have to do all 4 paths before.
But that's my fault as a level designer. I've been in previous some people like you, like a lot of people. Thought they should have advanced on the right and jump on. It's not. Oh, I should do.
Well,
I should do.
You will fix that.
Yeah, it's all right. You live and learn. That's fine. I was just curious because I noticed there was all the streams that the veins came from it, but no.
So if you shoot the heart, yeah.
And so the entire level changes practically. So there's like new kinds of paths to explore and new places to go.
Exactly.
I really also like the controls as well. The controls. Thankfully, that was good, but I found the controls in general for the keyboard a little bit counterintuitive. I felt that using normally W, A, S, and D is like directional, so S is like back or down rather than up or jump. Up on the arrow key should have been jump as well, or instead of, because down is crouch, but up does nothing. That felt more initially because you wanted the controls to be similar to the original console you were going for. The NES, was it?
So you can actually play it with one of these NES controllers, or if you have an old NES controller, this is after. You can actually play it because we used just 2 buttons for jump and fire menu and to switch weapons. So you can actually play with that. So yeah, but so in the end, when we release the game, I will try to actually use you once because that's the best way.
Yeah, actually, the up button. So if you push up and then fire, then you throw potions upwards.
But
yes, and hold up button and then fire, then you throw upwards.
Yeah, you can the arrow key up enemies over your head or something,
Oh, right.
If you jump over an enemy and you want to shoot it down and like you would do in Ghost and Goblins and stuff like that.
And some evil. What else?
So
what happens?
The story of the game is that
created the world. So there was a goddess at the beginning of time, like Genesis, and she created the world and guys. So she decided maybe I can separate these guys in two worlds and put the good people in one world and the evil people. At the beginning it was everything good. The good people was living happily. Found a way to open holes so that he can go to the happy world and attack it and try to control it. Exactly.
Very nice. And hole spelled like as in a hole in the ground rather than a hole, like a whole sum. So tell me, what was the one big major thing you learned while working on the game?
So it's quite frightening truth that players nowadays play to keep players from not quitting the game. If they die or something like that, it's quite hard to make it actually compelling for players to keep playing and not quit the game, because we are now, so if we don't like something, we can change it in a second and play another new game. It may be a free game we've downloaded. So we first are the players easily quit a game, they might change it and play a different game. So it's really hard to keep the players happy during the whole game.
Is that there? It's difficult to grab attention.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you would have maybe one game, two games, played games, and if the game was difficult or the game or challenging or it wouldn't, you only have that game maybe, and so you actually played it once on a game and do your best.
Sorry about the... I need to do some work right now. I'm sorry about that.
Yes. That's alright, we'll find ways around it. And players have too much, you could argue, too much choice and hard to get their attention fully.
Exactly.
I understand the players and get their attention and their imagination, so they stick with you and play the game through and see the quality for what.
It's funny how we started the game trying to make a game like the NES classics that are from the NES, like Mega Man or Castlevania or Ghosts and Goblins, for instance. These games are super hard. When we played those games 20, 30 years ago, it was fine. I mean, you would die and you play it again, like, okay, this is too much for me, and leave it. So we've been decreasing the Ludum Dare 30 game we did was quite hard, and since that time till now, we didn't want to make it just easier for the sake of it. Like, the game is still hard to play, and we've added some things and stuff like that so we have something for people who actually
want to play a challenge.
One thing for everybody, and it's quite difficult to do that. And I think we've come out with.
Anyway, I still think probably the people who have not a lot of experience with this kind of games. This is actually, so I'm doing the development of the game, so programming and the difficulty of the bosses. So I wanted the bosses to be really difficult, because I really very difficult bosses fight. So this, I think it's still quite difficult. But let's see.
Always find out what people think. Always get playtests and groups and such, and see what some loyal fans, what they think.
If the game is too hard or not.
But lads, what was the light bulb moment while you were working on this game? What inspiration that shifted the game? That or the inspiration for the game when it started to all come together?
The moment we added the fairy that goes all the time with you, it was maybe that time because we thought not to leave the game because previously you would die and start from the checkpoint, and if you lost now, what we are doing is if you lose all your lives, then you start from the checkpoint, and if you just because the fairy will
resurrect you
in the very same spot you are. So that's that idea. It was really nice because we find out how to keep players playing the game. Difficult because we've got a mechanic in the game that has to do with the fairy resurrecting you. So we keep both people who don't want so much challenge in the game to keep playing. So.
That's an interesting dilemma, because suddenly if you eliminate that fear of death in the game, or that running around willy-nilly, not really caring and jumping over bosses and such, but at the same time, if you introduce that consequence where the ending change, you can be a little reckless if you want, but is it a case of a certain amount of times she resurrects you, or
it depends on the number of continues you use. So if you lose all your lives, then you use one continue, and it will say if Faye resurrects you now, she will get tired or something like this. We have to figure out. And if she gets tired, it's more continues, then she will get even more tired, so to say, or very, very weak. Yeah, actually there will be more than 3 endings, but these are the most critical changing events.
To fit in a classic game, what we are used to in games now, we've got, I mean, it's not just only on mobile, you got it also on consoles, like if you play the Toad game, we're trying, it's a way to actually use that
rating system.
That system in the game, in a way.
So it's like 3 stars. If you fail a little bit, then you do normal ending, 2 stars. If you fail a lot, then you get super bad.
It's better than actually just stars.
Yeah, we will not put stars.
If you die, or is she always there?
So we will
not. You will have to play that. Nah, she will not leave you. But
okay, interesting. And what was the worst moment while you were playing the game? Or someone wasn't pulling their weight? What was the worst moment?
Yeah, normally the failure in communication. We work normally, the 3 of us, in different places. I'm in, and the other guy, JJ, lives in Cádiz, a little city in the south of Spain. And we normally communicate. Sometimes we have problem in communication, and we think we are thinking the same. So as for each of our part of the game, and then we realize each of us thought something different, and then we have a
argument
to decide what to do next, because we already did some work, but it only happened a couple of times. So I communicate much better now. We are very open. We say always when we think something doesn't work, something works, and this I think we.
After that, Miguel and Dan, what was the luckiest time? What was the luckiest moment you had while working?
Would be the very beginning, the Ludum Dare 30, because you see, it's not that easy to actually find the end, and so just getting the opportunity to make games and have the right team to do it, have so much to thank that we found the right team here.
So in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
And you all had the right mindset in order to create and to create the game and to be where you
with the same that likes the same kind of games and the way we were people in the project that maybe didn't like the way we work. We try to have deadlines every 2 weeks. Cut for that. It's like too much pressure or maybe too little pressure or like the game we actually are building. That's it's hard, and I'm really happy.
The same kind of things. So we give a lot of importance to pixels and 2D games and difficult stuff, and also having the same focus in reference to which kind of games we want to do and how much dedication we are going to put on them. This is very good to have the right people for it.
And what was the best advice you ever received when it came to making games?
The best advice would be to keep trying and keep making games. See how the game maybe doesn't perform as well, and maybe the game you think it's good, but the best advice I've ever had is like keep doing games, because you'll get better and this game and maybe make a living out of it.
Yeah, because Miguel, you did like a lot of games before, and some games work, other doesn't work, but the important thing is to keep trying, because when the games work, then it's a lot of satisfaction for you.
Is one that you'd work a long time, but at the end of the day, and at the end of the project, you look I worked on, that sense of achievement that that's my creation, it's out there, people are using it and enjoying it, and there's my input. I can understand that and sympathise, that sense of pride.
Right.
From making that game that people play. Lecture or learning resource that you could recommend?
So I would say there's bits. But it's really easy to follow. They've got like an episode every week of 5 minutes or so, now and then.
And it's very well presented with cartoon type of presentation and with a lot of images. I like a lot Gamma Sutra, because I think the plurality of people writing there makes it very heterogeneous and interesting.
I can understand that. I've heard about Gamma Sutra before, but extra credit, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what subjects do they cover?
So sometimes they might cover really simple concepts, completely different, like based on maybe the psychology aspects of the game, or like, for instance, one of that was quite interesting. It was like, oh my god, this is what we are discussing lately, and they covered this, which is when the game may think they can actually leave the game, or when are you going to allow them to leave the game, and that probably very that resurrects you solution we did. Quite inspiring, actually, yeah.
Directing the player where you want them to be, that as well as mixed with like colour theory and other art and design is very important. I used to have some rooms that were completely empty, completely useless, quite poor level design, and it's been 20 or so years of more efficient, more clean level design, just by learning from other people, learning from I would have done this, that, and other, and actively applying those things that you've learned.
Exactly. As a game designer myself, I game how to build the levels in a way that you don't need like somebody telling you or a super tell you, don't jump over the edge on the spikes. So that's super interesting. Trying to what you want them to know through the construction of the levels. That's super interesting.
Yeah, in this way, I think we have to find that you have to hit the heart so that it breaks.
Yeah.
Maybe if the heart was shimmering or glowing, or the player thinks is going to attack that, but at the same time he might hit the other one as the heart as well.
Yeah.
We are actually so that stage is nearly finished, but what we are missing is actually all the effects. We might add that.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, it'll be very very polished by the end. And software or equipment or some hardware or even a comfortable chair and a good desk.
So actually buy software licenses, etc. So right now we developed the game using libgdh for Android at the beginning, and then it expanded to be for PC, Mac, and Linux. So I also do the music for the game, and I had to buy some music. I find Contact very versatile. It has a lot of possibilities. It's a instrument so that you can play it in every digital audio workstation like Cubase, etc. But it has very nice new lab. It's a digital audio workstation for sequencing music. It's not very well known, but I would recommend it.
So that was Contact and what else?
MuLab. This is M-U-L-M. M-U-L-A-B.
Oh, okay, MuLab. Ah, very nice. So there's no reason why your game should not have good audio then.
Let's see. Actually, for Windows, it's called FamiTracker. It emulates the chip sound of the Nintendo and soundtrack. That it's you can choose between a NES soundtrack or a Super NES soundtrack.
Very nice. And like an Evernote or Trello, do you have a use app or extension worth sharing?
So we are using Trello actually.
What a nice coincidence.
I cannot live without Google Apps, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what else?
Yeah, normally we use this Scrum based development, and then we use Google Docs, and I think that's it.
And your skills are the same, your food and shelter taken care of. How different would the game be?
Maybe the game would be the same, but we would probably make the game in like 30% of the time it's taking us.
Much more difficult, because if we have already covered food and shelter, then we don't care if we sell it or not, and we would do it much more.
Just for hard service.
Very nice. So the game, very streamlined. The game is largely already there.
Yes.
That's very good, very efficient, very productive. So, would there be no extra bosses you would add, or extra levels, or spells?
Yeah, I mean, actually decide when to stop making the game and make another game. So yeah, I mean, maybe much more enemies and animations and stuff. Maybe, or maybe we would get tired of the game and then make a new one.
I would add something. Actually, we did this game thinking world. It implies that we use much less colors for the sprites. We use and we constrained ourselves in a way that not everybody would seem it's counterintuitive, but actually constraining yourself can bring a lot of ideas and create a box. So actually making the game just longer for the sake of it sometimes is not the best idea. Good ideas out of it.
Yeah, actually, the game, I mean, the level you've been playing was like double the really fun gameplay for every second, every meter you walk in the game. We try to make half the length, but much better gameplay and much more fun to play.
The mother of invention, and yeah, when you don't have an alternative or when you have a lot of constraints, I understand that, and I agree with that. So right now, the Kickstarter is underway.
That's right.
And when does it finish exactly?
In a month's time.
So that's roughly end of July.
Yes, something like that.
23rd of July. Ah, very good, very nice. And what is the target?
Old style graphics, playability in 2D game, but yeah, like we've tried to make it for everybody. So I would say you don't need to be a hardcore.
Yeah, maybe for somebody it's surprising that $1,000, but we are actually supporting ourselves through our normal day jobs and what we need is, and for supporting the business costs for the company. So we actually try to, and we can then launch the game also in Wii U, in PS4, and Xbox One, and Vita.
Yeah.
On PC.
Yes.
If we get the stretch goals, definitely. Like if we want to release the game, we need expensive actually. So yeah, these kinds of things. Like we pay for our food and our shelter, but kind of things that we don't have like 1,000 euros to pay upfront for these kinds of things.
It was very nice talking to you both.
Very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. More videos. Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev. If you are a game developer that wants to get your name and game out there and to share your experiences and that's info@gameoverload.co.uk. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode.